Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is November 29, 2021, and today is Monday morning. So what a Friday we had last week with the Dow Jones tanking over 1,000 points, but this morning we are bouncing. There's no major economic event scheduled for today, but as we look at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, we're watching the Euro pair actually bounce this morning, while the Aussie Dollar is still weak and on its lows. Now looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both bounced after a massive decline last week. Now looking at commodities, gold pretty much unchanged, and oil bounces after breaking $70 a barrel. Now looking at the stocks, Jpmorgan has the biggest drop as we look at that as well, showing the biggest weakness, and we're going to cover all the stocks as well. Now looking at Bitcoin, it is pretty much unchanged after this debacle last Friday, but let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're looking at the Eur Usd at a 4-hour chart. And the reason we're doing this is because this is where it makes a lot of sense. This is where it becomes very interesting right here. When you get the crossover on the 30-day and you get this consolidation on the 12, and this is something that is going to have to show to us whether or not it's a dead cat bounce, which means that it's just a bounce and it's going to go back to its lows, or whether or not it's going to change its character here and maybe possibly have somewhat of a bigger bounce, maybe to the 114-ish level, high 113-ish level after this massive decline that we've had from 116.80-ish level down to 12. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now looking at the Aussie dollar, not getting a bounce. It's really dead, not even close to its moving average. So we're seeing a lot of weakness here in the Aussie dollar, which doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go further down, but it's something to take note of. Okay, it is sustaining its character of being weak despite the fact that the euro did bounce. Now looking at commodities, first let's look at gold. Not doing much. If you look at a daily chart, again, it's at 1796, really consolidating within that, tight range. We'll leave it for now. Looking at oil, this is where it gets kind of interesting because the market did tank from $74 down to $68. That's $6. If you look at the past week, we went from $78, almost $10 on the price. That's 10% decline for crude oil. Now look at that. That's a nosedive. That's systemic. That's something that's really serious. And it'd be kind of interesting to see if this actually will be a correctional move, and we'll see it further decline as we continue trading there. Now looking at the Dow Jones first. Okay, this is the this is the NASDAQ. Dow Jones, here we go. Let's look at a 4-hour chart just to give us perspective here. Look at that. We did get this bounce. We traded as low as 34,642, and now we're bouncing to 35,000. The question is whether or not this will be sustainable, or are we going to rally back to 35,400-ish level? That would be my guess, because that's about 50% drop from our 36,000 drop. But something to continue, okay? If this is a dead cat bounce, it means we're going back to our lows. We could go lower than 34,600-ish level. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, we're also getting a bit of a bounce here, as you can see here, as this has not been affected as severely as the Dow Jones has been, okay, because the tech stocks are still pretty strong, and so you're seeing a divergence here. Now looking at Jpmorgan, look at that drop, 166 down to 159. That's a $7 drop. I mean, that's severe. If you look at a 4-hour chart, that's pretty severe. But we are at the bottom of the range, so it could be that we'll rally today, okay, just because we're at the bottom of the range, right? If you look at Facebook, it didn't budge down. Apple did sell further lower, but again, it's still this one probably out of all the tech stocks got hit the most, from 164 down to 156. But I'm looking for that bounce. That's what I would assume today. But if we don't get that bounce, we're going to go lower. Okay, so that's something to consider. And Microsoft, looking here, also got beaten up to 329, but again on supportish level if we look at that as well. Now looking at Bitcoin, all right, didn't do much here. Okay, we did bounce off of our 53,000. We're pretty much in a range right now. Lower range of 53,000. Higher range is about 59 to 60,000, I would say. So we're almost there. We're almost at that top of the range. So if you did catch that on the bottom, you might want to sell it off in here. So lots happening today as the markets kind of absorbs this, this news coming out with a new variant, and, sided together with the fact that the markets hit all-time record highs and then, crash. So that's something to consider as we're making these correctional moves. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.